Education Association?
Well, first I want to say I want to thank the host for inviting me on the show today.
All right.
Dr. Henderson,
All right.
Mr. Norman Henderson, I appreciate you for
welcome.
thinking of me to be able to come on to a show of this caliber.
Okay.
The technology and the studio and everything that you got going on. This is a very, very nice setup. So I just
Great.
wanted to communicate that that I'm very proud, you know, to see our people really doing, you know, the things that they're supposed to be doing out here in this world, in this media world.
Oh yeah, we doing it, man. This ours. This ours.
Yeah, we're trying.
It's ours for the taking. You know,
Yeah.
it's ours for the taking, man. As quick as we can get everything together, man, and get ourselves together, man, we'll
Yes.
be ready to take it.
Yeah, well, to answer your question, the Indigenous Hemp Education Association was founded in 2018. It's also known as the Ihea Business Trust. But basically, it's a 501d tribal nonprofit, which ministry is educating and focusing on the education of the past, present, and future solutions that this plant can bring.
Awesome.
So everything that encompasses the plant, from the history to, you know, the anatomy, you know, from agriculture, you know, to future solutions. We cover everything as far as education platform. So, I
Great.
think that's what the industry needs right now, is somebody to correctly educate doctors, lawyers, you know, policymakers, those who are in charge, so-called in charge of making the decisions,
Right.
banking and legality and criminalization. So these are things that I think that needed to be addressed. So I figured out that this is the lane that I want to stay in as far as education.
There you go.
Just like you guys, you know, you guys are educators.
Educators
Right,
as well.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So
right.
It's good to be among fellow educators.
There
It
you
is,
go.
It is. It is.
There you go.
So, so what made you decide to get involved with the hemp the way that you have?
Well, I've been involved with hemp pretty much all my life. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather introduced it to me at a young age. You know, my whole family is indigenous, so we view this plant as just our sacrament. So, you know, I smoked with my grandparents, you know, uncles and cousins, and it was just a family thing to do. And I got involved as far as legalization and the whole aspect of trying to change the law in about 2013 when we started going to the Georgia State House and Senate and sitting down with people like Representative Lewis and D. Hagler, some of the people who've been monumental in getting things pushed through as far as the local level on the Georgia Senate. So just seeing it, you know, like I say, a need. I've done everything in this industry from promote products. You know, we was at the first Cannabis Cup in 2014. You know, marketing, guerrilla marketing, made a lot of good connections in this industry, from Shine Papers to High Times. We actually produced one of the High Times mixtapes that came out in 2014. So I've done a lot in this business. I presented Killer Mike with his first Cannabis Activism Award on his birthday. I've done a lot, and like I said, I think that the need was education, because everybody's trying to do dispensary and be a grower and, you know, have delivery services, what have you, but nobody's trying to stay in the lane of educating everybody, because everybody needs the education.
Everybody gonna need it. Everybody gonna need it. Cannabis ain't just one of the things you wake up and decide, oh yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna get into the cannabis industry. Trust me,
No,
man.
you need
You
quality
gonna need that
consultants,
information.
and you need educated, quality people with morals that can guide you in this industry, because this industry is full of charlatans and full of shysters.
It's the
And,
wild, wild west, like
yeah,
somebody put it.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, man, the people I be talking to about it, they be like proud of it too. Oh, it's the wild, wild west. Well, in the wild, wild west, you know what I'm saying, there wasn't a whole bunch of winners.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? It was not a whole bunch of winners during the Wild Wild West. So when you say that you're involved in an industry that's like the Wild Wild West, man, ooh, man, cutthroat, bro. You
Yeah,
said that.
it is. It is. It's
You
very
said that
cutthroat.
just right, man.
Yeah. So it's having the ability to understand you know, what the market is and putting quality people together and getting things accomplished, you know. So
All right. What inspired you to write that book?
actually, this book is 10 years in the making. I've
There it is.
Wow,
right on the
yeah.
screen.
Thank you, producer. Well, this book is 10 years in the making, and it's been compiled information and research that I've been just compiling and gathering. I didn't write all the book myself. Basically, this is an information book that's just compiled of a lot of information. So I gathered it all myself, and from everything from the 10,000 year timeline, from all of the pictures. I think that the most quality thing about the book is the pictures. You know, having quality color photos letting you know that these were indigenous native people who were the first to touch this plant is very, very good for our subconscious mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because every time we see a history of hemp story or a cannabis story in history, they always go to, okay, it started 8,000 years ago in the Asian market and it came over here, and all we knew was these Europeans who touched the plant, and George Washington, and you know, Thomas Jefferson grew it. We all know that story. But who's telling the story about the indigenous people who were touching this plant first and giving,
There you go.
and, you know, and using this for medicine, using it culturally, using it ritually, using it medicinally, using it spiritually, you know. So this is an industrial plant that our people have been touching and using for the last 10,000 years. So I feel we should not let people who don't look like us come into this market and dictate this market. We've been dictating it for the last 10,000 years. So for these last 20 years, for people to come into it and say, we've cornered it and we got this amount of percentage in the market, we just have to understand our power, come together, and work together, you know.
Cause we showed, man, because we showed gave the blueprint away on hip hop.
We
a long
did,
time ago,
we
man.
did, and that's why I talk
We
about
gave that away a long time
But
ago.
actually, it started with the reggae movement, you know, and even before that, it started in the 20s with the jazz movement, you know, with Louis Armstrong and all of these jazz musicians who made marijuana popular, you know. So that caused the marijuana prohibition, you know, which started criminalizing black and brown people for using it and distributing it.
Right.
So it's a history that must be told.
Now, now, earlier in the conversation, I heard you mention that you were part of a tribe. What tribe?
Do you know?
Well, my family, yeah, I do know. My family comes from the Cherokee line, which we don't say Cherokee as Aboriginal people. We say Salahi
Okay.
or Aniuwea is the name that they use to describe Cherokee people. My distinct tribe was called the Anigatagawi, which was the white potato clan, which was responsible for the farming and supplying the food and agriculture for the tribe.
Oh, wow.
You know, so
Awesome.
my family's clan name is Phoenix,
Okay.
and Phoenix translates into Sulisanvi in the Cherokee language.
Wow.
So my family was one of the first major tribes in South Carolina, which we all know South Carolina is one of the oldest parts in the United States.
Right.
With Albert Perry, you know, undocumented as having the oldest DNA.
Okay. Now, how did you get that DNA test done?
Well, I don't really respect DNA tests.
Okay. Right.
I respect more genealogy, and I respect family history
Right.
and family stories.
Okay.
Because a lot of our stories are not written down.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
So we must document our family's history, and then we can record it in a book form. We can record it in the Library of Congress. We can record it, you know, anywhere. We can copyright it, you know what I'm saying, and make it into an ebook. However you feel that you must document your family's history, I feel that we need to do that. And I also, you know, help people do that through my consultation service as well.
Bam.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? See that? All right, so, you know what I'm saying? Let me see here. When do you teach? That's the next question.
Constantly, every day.
Every day.
And I try to, you know, enlighten or empower somebody and give some kind of information, powerful information every single day.
All right.
I think that's the teacher's responsibility,
There you go.
is to teach. You know, I don't think nobody should be holding on to information because it's not ours anyway. You know, information comes in from a source and it just comes through us. So
That's
Right,
we're the
right.
we're the vessels,
we're the
right?
vessels for this
Vessels.
information.
Right.
There you go.
So
All right. Did you have any more questions, Doctor?
Well, we do. We wanted to ask you to come out and speak at our next class, if you would like to, November the 2nd. And
oh, they put me on the spot, didn't they? No, we had already talked about this before. Yeah, we had already talked about this before.
Oh yeah, that's in the cultivation. That's in the cultivation module right there.
No, it's
Right.
actually the
The
first
second one?
module.
The first one?
The
All right,
history
well,
of
there you go.
cannabis.
The
It's
first
in the
one.
first module,
History of
November the 2nd.
Mhm.
So we're happy to have you to come and join us for that course.
I would love to give.
Talk to our students. So students, y'all hear that? He will be available to speak, right?
Yes,
and
yes.
talk about the indigenous
History of hemp.
There you go.
Where
There you
can,
have
where
it.
can my peoples get that book?
There you go.
Where
Right
can
now,
my peoples get your book?
right now we're pre-ordering, and right now what I'm doing is I'm doing a sort of an experiment to see how many books I can personally sell with my network before I start putting it on Amazon, Nook, all these other people who's going to take a percentage. Even before I put it in bookstores, I want to see how many out the trunk, you know what I'm saying, that I can move.
There you
So right now is we're taking pre-orders, and they can go to paypal.me/the Ihea. That's THEIHEA. And they can put in $61, and that'll give them the link to go ahead and pre-order the book. You just leave your shipping address. And what happened was, when I put this book out, I had a couple copies with me, and then I ran into a professor. When I was actually in D.C., I actually won an award for cannabis activism in D.C., presented by Harrison Associates. So when I talked to that particular professor, they told me that if I wanted to have this book in universities and its university quality with the information, I needed to make sure I have a thorough index and a thorough bibliography site and everything. So what I decided to do was actually rewrite a couple things in it and go back and do a thorough research, bibliography, and index to make sure that it's university quality when I do release it. So when people do get it, and I release it to the world through Amazon or whatever different channels I'm gonna release it through, they'll have everything that they want in this book, and it can be verified. It won't be no kind of way that they can say, oh, I don't think that's. No, every single thing will be cited and be able to be verified. So I thought that was very important. So I kind of jumped the gun a little bit with putting it out there, but it'll be done in less than a month, you know.
Y'all
So,
make sure y'all get that book, man. That book
Revised
will be
version.
running out fast, I'm telling you. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. I had a chance to preview the book, man. I had a chance to preview the book. I'm just saying. And me, I'm a historian kind of guy myself. You know?
and actually, when you do order the book, I meant to say this, you do get a PDF ebook version immediately sent to your email, just to hold you on to when you get the physical copy. So I do that to make sure that you do have the information in your hand, and you can go ahead and educate yourself.
There's plenty of information in that book too.
There you go.
If y'all want to see where this really started from, go get that book.
Go get the book.
All right, go
Or
get
come
that
to
book.
the class and let him
Or come to the class.
explain some of the details. From
Yes,
the book.
November
He's not
2nd.
going to tell everything, but yeah, we'll get a gist of the information in class.
All right, that's what's up. Well, we're going to go ahead and take this little break right here, and when we come back, we're going to move on to to some current event.
Appreciate you guys having
You
me.
know what I'm saying, man? I appreciate you for being
coming.
here.
All right.
Yeah, this was
All
up.
right. Did
Thank
you
you,
have
sir.
anything else to say about your websites or anything?
Websites, the Ihea website is wearetheihea.org. That's WETHEI.